Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn and Hunter here, and today we are doing Hunter's RWBY ships that she loves and hates. And so if you saw my video and my Fox and Neo dictator speech, that was my half, and so this is going to focus entirely on Hunter and me roasting Hunter's choices. And so, like we did last time, there's no neutral ground. You either love it or you hate it, and that is basically it. So let's talk about hate first. Do you just want to go through them, or should I point out things that I find?
I have this trend where, like, if I think that a character, like, I feel like Weiss and Yang and
Blake?
Ilya, and to an extent Blake, but not as much Blake, being with guys, it just gives me the ick. So whenever it's just like Weiss and Henry, or Yang and Sun, or
Sure.
Weiss and Jean, I just don't like it. I also dislike the kind of bully things going on.
And so that was kind of like what
Which is why I dislike
had...
Cardin and Velvet, and I have seen fan fiction of that before. I really just dislike Adam with everyone. Like Adam with Velvet, Adam with Blake, Adam with Sienna, Adam with Ilya. They're all bad. There's no redeeming quality.
There's no Adam and... Wait, where is Adam and Blake?
Adam
yeah,
Blake
they're right there. They're right there, yeah.
Near the low, yeah, Toradana. Can't have that. Not in this Christian household. This God-fearing household. I put Strong Lady and White Lanky Boy.
Elm and Vine?
Thank you, because they're just such, like, I mean, I like Elm because she's kind of funny, and she's like, big lady strong, but, like, as a character, Vine is such a nothing.
Yeah,
and I feel like
Elm deserves better.
They deserved better, and they deserved a kind of better something. I will
ask about Cinder and Jean, and Clover and Crow, and Roman and Blake. Wait, is Winter and Crow there too? Okay, so let's, in the order that I have criticized. I mean, not criticized. I don't disagree about Cinder and Jean. I just want to know. I'm just realizing now that perhaps I didn't put as much thought into mine as you did. Okay, but I do have strong feelings. It was just on instinct. You were just like,
I'm just like, the vibes are off. I feel like
that's fine. That's a reason. That's a
because like I have
answer.
people that I prefer Crow with, and I have people that I prefer Winter with, and the vibes are just off. I like them better when they hate each other.
Okay.
And so I just don't like that.
My Blake and Roman, I feel like you did that to me.
I did that to you? I'm sorry, it just skeeves me, because I feel like Roman's such a dirtbag to Faunus.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's why I said we have to...
I don't know, you could make him better, and you're like, I could make him better, and I'm like, no, you can't. No, man, you're not fixing him.
What happened to Clover and Crow?
I used to like it, but now I'm just like, you know what, he's a...
Like in hindsight, it just got worse.
He's a cop, and he's a sellout, and I just don't want that for Crow. I feel like they would only be good as backstory for Crow, as like him dating someone else. Like, I used to date this fucking sellout asshole.
All right. So
Sea Monkey are I feel like Weiss and Neptune. I feel like I just don't vibe with it. I don't think she's like, stay away from my perfect girl. You don't deserve her. I would be like, give him like if Weiss was my daughter.
Yeah.
And this poor metrosexual Neptune came up to me, I would give him the shovel talk.
No.
I'd be like, do not get anywhere near my daughter.
All right.
Dislike.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory, guys. So let's move on to the dislike. I'm guessing Clover and Marrow is the same reason for Clover and
Crow.
I
just don't like Clover, but the distaste is less for whatever
Ironwood
reason.
and Winter? I thought you sounded kind of supportive of when I had that.
Because I liked where you were coming from. I like that, like they like power.
But you don't
imbalances.
like the canonicity.
But I just don't like the power. And like personally, that's not the type of thing I enjoy.
Okay,
because
that's fair.
When you're power imbalanced and you're like a horrible imperialist dictator. That's just not hot. To an extent. Listen, it's like murder can be hot.
In Volume 4, this would have been fine because we didn't know the extent to Ironwood's power.
No, basically. It's just like you're dating a general. It would be like if Weiss, or rather Winter, dated Vladimir Putin. It's just like, I'm sorry. It's just, it does not pass the vibe check. Yang and Jean similarly does not pass the vibe check, but I'm less, because it's just like like if Yang was my daughter, and she brought Sun, I would be like, get this fucking man out of here. Well, I was talking because I hate Yang.
I see.
But like, if Yang came up and John, I'd be like, you know what? He's kooky. I kind of like him.
Oh, I see.
He wouldn't know how to slide.
I still think, like, I don't know, Jean and Yang, I feel like it's some weird wish fulfillment thing. Like, I've never heard a reason for shipping Jean and Yang based off of, like, backstory or, like, chemistry. Yes. Like, it's not like that John had to raise all of his sisters. If they did, maybe I'd see it. But, like, I've never heard a reason outside of, I want to be Jean in the John and Yang ship, which is fine. Do whatever you want. I'm just saying.
I talked a lot about how I just don't like Ruby and Oscar because I feel like Ruby and Oscar...
somebody was like, Cal, I better not see any Oscar and Ruby slander. I'm surprised. I am surprised to see.
I don't hate them, but I dislike them.
Okay, that's fair.
There's a part of me that I guess the vibes are off because I feel like with Tyrion and Watts, because I get like Ace vibes from Watts.
Yeah.
Where he just wouldn't be. I get Ace vibes from both of them. I don't
perceive Watts sexually.
I perceive Waluigi sexually, and they're basically the same person. The man fucks, but he doesn't, and that's how he's powerful. And as we all know, Tyrion's horny for murder. Similarly, I just don't vibe with a lot of like the team coffee ships. Like I don't want Coco with no man.
Yeah.
No man. I don't really like Fox with Velvet. I did not. You see, I was nice because I do like Velvet and Yasuhashi, so I don't think they're there.
No, they're not. I see them.
So I let it slide. Part of me, I let it slide. I also just, I have strong feelings that Fox and Yatsu should be best buddies.
Who is that with Jean?
That's Tyrion.
But do people even ship that?
They do, because Tyrion said that one time of like...
that's not a good reason,
of
guys.
you
I'm sorry.
and him.
There's definitely
and so there's like weird
not.
horniness going on in that direction.
Okay.
And I look at my young lad, John, and then if Jean was my son, and this this distasteful man came, I would say, no, you do not.
Ironwood and Jacques?
Nah, he just doesn't feel right.
I am just surprised.
They're evil. They deserve each other.
I'm just surprised that you had like an opinion, because I don't think I put that in my
It's like they're evil, but they're evil in different ways. Like Ironwood's like at least like, I don't know what you would say, principled, whereas Jacques isn't. I just see Soleil and like, I don't know. It's like that OTP thing where it's like, if you challenge the OTP, I feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this challenges the OTP, so I have to like make a statement about it.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, they're just kind of
the Tyrion ships are probably self-explanatory.
The Tyrion ships, because I'm just
John
like...
and Marrow, that's so sad.
Like, it could work. It could
Imagine
work.
if he just,
it was honestly...
they're cuddling together, and Marrow's whispering in his sleep, and he calls him Juan again instead of John.
Because the thing is, you were like, hey man, if you're just neutral, kick them out. But there's this gray area between dislike and like, where it's like, I like them, but not... I would like them, but not as a functional romantic pairing.
Right. Just like the cute fan art you see every
I would like them
while.
as people who are just absolutely terrible for each other, and it's just kind of fun to watch, which I explain in a different graph.
The Penny and Winter very surprised me. I understand Emerald and Mercury because you see Emerald as like gay, clearly. But like, what happened with the Penny and Winter?
I just feel like they're like sisters. You know? And it's like
that's valid.
I would feel weird. I feel like they're adopted. I feel like they're kind of adopted sisters.
Oh, okay.
So it would feel weird in the same way that like Enabler would be weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't vibe with it. Also Cordovan and
Maria.
They would be
I didn't
great.
even know that people had
I would love if they were like exes, and that's part of the reason why they hate each other. Like they met at a gay bar and
oh my god,
Argus once, and they just had very differing opinions.
You have a lot of likes, so I feel like we gotta like rapid fire.
All right, rapid fire. Sea monkeys, they're cute. Blake and Robin, like they're fierce. I like them. I think they would work together. The Belladonnas, they're adorable.
Yeah, see, I didn't even include that because I'm like, that's just canon. I don't know.
That's canon, but they're cute as fuck, and so I like them. We have Yang and I just like Yang
I didn't
with all of my
understand
girls.
that at all. I was like,
there's
Hunter, what are you doing?
You know what it was? There's one fan fiction where they're like, it's like a college AU and they're dating, and I just think it's sweet.
Okay.
I just think it's sweet. Emerald and Neo, not my favorite Emerald or Neo ship, but I think they're kind of nice together. Something about Maria and Talk. I think we had a video. I don't even know if it's up on the channel anymore, where we talked about a hypothetical romance they could have had.
Yeah,
and that clings to your guts. So I gotta keep that.
Talk spares her, and it's like this whole thing. I think it was something like that.
Exactly. I do not know why I didn't put Yang and Emerald higher. I just think that once again, it's like I like Emerald with other people more. I like Yang with other people more, but like. The vibes, it's just they work.
I do not like the Yang and Emerald.
And that's fine, because you can be wrong. I love Cinder and Raven.
I feel like that's weird.
Because they just kind of, I get the impression that they just kind of like, well, any port in a storm, and like I like romances.
Wait, what?
I never heard that phrase.
What does that mean?
Any port in a storm. It's like when you
you'll
can't
have
date
someone to hold anyway.
Yeah, it's like cuffing season. It's like, hey man, like when you have to, you got to.
I guess I just see Cinder closer to Yang than Raven in terms of like
perhaps
age. So that's just me though.
But I just like that. And then my favorite toxic straights, Ozpin and Salem. Gotta love that. Something about Marrow and Sun just like tickles me, because I feel like they're just such fuckboys and they would work.
Yeah, that's true.
Sienna and Ilya, because like I imagine Ilya would like simp for Sienna.
That is true.
There's part of that toxic like no good like relationship that
but
is
it's
not
a bit
good,
more
but it's
healthy than like
fiction.
Adam and
Yeah. And then, I mean, how could you not love Winter and Robin?
I'm surprised they didn't get higher.
I also had, frankly, I think they should be on
Why
the top
is
of the
Ilya
list.
and the random spider bitch there?
I just feel like, I just look at that spider bitch and I'm just like, she's goth.
Okay.
I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like they could have dated. They could have dated and I'd be okay with that.
I'm surprised May and CL even exist. Because CL was in like your dislike or something earlier.
My theory, no, I don't necessarily, I had May and every person from Atlas lined up, because I have this fan fiction, the idea that either after May transitioned or before May transitioned, she got busy.
With everybody?
Yes. And so I just imagine that when she transitioned, she kind of like gave everybody gay panic.
Okay.
Listen,
you're trans. You can say that.
except for Marrow, I think they did it afterwards. But I just like the idea of her having flings with all these people, because it's just amusing to me.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not doing it well maybe I'm not flying the flag correctly, but
I have some questions, but anyway.
Robin and Crow, I just think they're it's the best Robin ship. That's not with the other Happy Huntresses. I just think they vibe well.
Okay, so the other Happy Huntress, the Polycule is better.
Yes, the Polycule is better, but that's pretty all right. Winter and Kylie, I just think it's just like, I hate my husband, I love my husband, here, let me show you.
Why is Jean and Salem here? I'm very surprised that made it into anything.
I don't know, something about just watching Salem like eat him alive, I would find like just like a praying mantis.
Okay.
I just enjoy that. Maybe we're gonna learn a lot. We're gonna learn a lot about me after this.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how I feel about that.
Neon and like I feel like they're better as friends, but
yeah,
like,
I think we aligned on that.
I could see them being like friends with benefits. I like Winter and Marrow. I think they're cute.
Kind of for the same reason.
For the same reasons, I feel similarly about Blake and Sienna. Yep, the divide is not as bad. Coco. I mean, how could you not love Coco?
I'm surprised that Coco and Carmen. And somehow Jean and Sun got the best of them. And Whitley and Oscar. How did this happen?
I like Whitley and Oscar. I don't know. I just like the total dirtbag rich kid that falls in love with the sweet kid.
Okay.
And then, can you not see that though?
Yeah.
Can you not see that? Can you not see that? High school AU. Is that not amazing?
That is cute.
And
like,
something about
Oscar's the farmer boy, and it's like, the whole thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cinder and
wait, what about Jean and Sun?
I don't know. I just feel like they're goofy and sweet, and like I feel like Jean can help Sun a little bit to be less of a dickbag.
Salem and Cinder, that's like pure like I don't.
Don't ask
pure,
why
I don't
want
to be perceived.
That's just like, listen, it's bad. It's not healthy.
Right.
But I like it. I like it.
I think Willow and Raven fall into that too.
Where it's just like, no, because I just feel like it's like I hate my husband. I'm just like, sweetie, like
Taeyang and
I can show you a
are
good
very,
time.
like, domestic, like.
Yeah, Taeyang and Summer are just domestic bliss. Gone too soon. We love them.
Why Cordovan and Ironwood, Hunter?
Something about the idea of like
the height difference.
No, I just like the idea that Cordovan clearly has like an admiration for Ironwood, and I just like the idea of like
Okay.
a one-way
I feel like Ironwood
crush.
would not like her.
I
yeah.
know he wouldn't, but she would, and I just like that dynamic. I think would be funny. Neo and Oscar, I just like because like
I don't
Oscar.
understand.
I feel the same way with Neo and John. Well, no, I feel like just Neo like because he's such a sweet boy, and I just want to destroy him.
Okay.
With like evil people,
Right.
morally
I see what you
compromised.
mean.
Romantic, and I also just love Velvet and Yatsuhashi.
I'm surprised that Velvet and Yasuhashi has fallen so far that Sienna and Callie somehow got like over them, even though.
But I really like the idea. I mean, listen. They're great. They probably deserve to be at the top of the list. Remember, this is in no particular order. In a lot of ways.
They're in there.
I know, but it's
okay, Hunter.
It's, you know,
Blake and Sun.
sometimes I just love my trash babies more. And it's like Blake and Sun I've learned to live with.
Yeah.
I didn't loathe it as much as I used to because Sun's a better character now. Kylie and Sienna, I'm sorry, I just think that would be really cool if they were younger and they dated.
Okay.
I just think that would be interesting because I feel like Kylie's like the fiery one, and I feel like they would bounce off each other interestingly. Pietro and Maria, my grandparents.
Yeah,
you know?
basically.
I just love the idea of Ironwood and like
I do like
having had a fling sometime in the past.
I agree. I do like that one.
I like the idea of Crow
Ozpin
and
Crow.
Ozpin having had a fling in the past.
So
as
I
well.
had that on my list, and you acted a little like skeptical for some reason. Like,
I feel like you skipped over Crow and Ozpin.
Oh, Ozpin. I mean, I don't really have any thoughts because
Which I have
like
strong
people
feelings about
shipped
that.
that
Oh, boy.
before.
Oh, I was
like,
fucking with you.
Okay.
But no, I like them.
I can't respect Neo. I can't respect Neo and Roman being lower than John and Pyrrha.
It's just because I like them a lot as a dynamic duo.
Right.
But I don't know if I just
like
ship
a
them
romantic
romantically.
duo.
Yes. And like
Vernal and Raven is.
I just
I
love.
don't know.
Because it's like it's not good. It's a bad relationship.
Sure.
But there's just something about it that I like.
Vernal as supposed to be some sort of contrast with Yang, and so that's why
Yeah.
I think it's a little weird.
Maybe.
But that's just me.
Maybe. But I also, personally, I just kind of feel like Raven is so emotionally constipated she can't tell Vernal that she really cares. And I imagine Vernal is like really loving her, and I just think that's an interesting dynamic.
Okay.
And also like my favorite straights. Just
John and Pyrrha.
John and Pierre. It's a shame we didn't see more of them.
So let's talk about the love list. The audacity of Yang being just a straight, like, the straight line of Yang. I can't deal with this. But
I feel like there are some characters, like you could take Emerald, Yang, Ilya, Coco, Weiss,
Not my Yang.
and Blake even, and mix in any capacity, and I'm gonna
that's
like
not
it.
true.
I'm
You're
sorry.
gonna like it. I just don't know.
And that's okay.
It's
because this is what this is what years of fan fiction has done to my brain, where
Okay.
they're just like, I love them all. And I really do
I wonder
love...
if in a couple of years, what if like Yang becomes like my favorite character, and in a couple of years I'm just like, oh man, Cal, you really hated Yang. I don't see that happening.
I mean, we used to really hate John, and now we like him. Like,
sure, I guess.
Things change.
So let's talk about Weiss and Pyrrha. I'll give you one for that. That's
They're
good.
just
They're
great. I think they have such a crush. My favorite straights.
Again.
That are both definitely bisexual.
Yeah, to me,
Ren.
Nora and Ren is kind of like a straight couple for the gay people.
Yeah,
Like,
they're a straight couple that gay people like.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's how I
the
feel as
vibe.
well.
My domestic lesbian goddesses, I just find them so
Yeah,
adorable.
I mean, I thought they were cute too, but I don't actively ship them because they're already together. I feel like shipping people who are actively together and kind
You're
of at
like
the end of the journey.
like, okay,
I don't know how
Velvet
to
and-
explain it. Like at the end of the journey,
I think marriage
like they're
is a
married.
continuation of
I
a
know,
journey.
I'm just saying-
Adrian's gonna
just
grow up to
saying.
a lovely young man.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of a fanfic narrative, if you've already gotten to this point, what's the narrative gonna be? Like, teetering on divorce, Gira cheating on Callie, and, like, then
No,
having to
it's
repair
just
the relationship?
continuing
like, you know
to
what I
be-
mean? Like, how do you have a conflict,
continuing
I guess.
to love each other, and one of them's the business mom, and one of them's like the crunchy
I'm just
vegetarian
memeing.
mom.
I'm just saying that I think
know,
when we get to
but
the marriage part, it's like you have to find a conflict in the relationship, but how do you find one that is not like...
I mean, there's conflicts in all relationships, and you don't need one big defining conflict unless we're telling a story. I just think that they just love each other.
I just meant telling the story.
And there's a lot of fan fiction of them just being in domestic bliss, and I love it a lot.
Yang does not deserve Coco.
I just feel like Yang and Coco is just peak alpha lesbian energy, just colliding with each other, and I find that really like entertaining.
I just feel like that was old Yang compared to new Yang for some reason.
Yeah, well, I think Coco also has that.
I mean, Coco has that energy. I'm just saying
feel like
that
Coco,
I feel like
out of like the members of Team Coffee, Coco's still the one we know the least about.
Yeah, I just feel like that Yang has like lost some spunk compared to what she had before, and part of that is her character development of not being careless anymore, I think. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cinder and Emerald, very toxic hunter.
Very toxic, but I love it. I love Misa. I love me a toxic relationship where they're just very. I don't know what that says about me and the kind of relationships I've been in my life, or I continue to be. Maybe this means that I will never be married. I'm okay with that. I think it's great.
Okay.
Ilya and Coco, I feel like that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Like, because Coco would just take it as just.
I definitely agree.
Useless lesbian, alpha lesbian. I feel like it's perfect. Emerald and Weiss, it's
Aladdin.
Wonderful. It's great. It should be higher up the list, personally, I think. Because
you made it.
I know, but it's just like I kind of threw it all together.
In hindsight, okay.
In hindsight.
Cinder and Winter, I think we have good taste with that.
We talked about that. Like
the Cinder and Winter,
the Venom would be just, it would be fine. Italian
I think Blake
shipping.
and Emerald is actually interesting because it's sort of like what I said with Ilya and Emerald, but like, you know, Ilya followed somebody bad and Emerald followed somebody bad, but it's like with Blake.
Yeah, Emerald and I think that really works.
I think there's a lot of common ground between them. I would agree. I
had the Huntress's polycule next.
Okay.
Because like, I love them so much, and I just want them to be my big happy polycule.
I agree.
I love them so much.
Coco and Emerald, that's a good shit.
That's a vibe. I love Crosshairs.
I love the Volume 3 interaction that
they're so great.
Coco and Emerald
like just the fierceness, and I feel like they would, although Emerald does have insecurities, they would bite at each other, and I do like that a lot. Crosshairs, we just love Crosshairs. We love it so much. I think that the vibe would be really cute because obviously,
you know,
Yatsuhashi kind of throws a wrench into that, but just for so long I loved them so much, and I do continue to like them quite a lot. This is probably controversial to you because I still like White Rose, which I feel like is ghost.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with liking White Rose. I just think that the White Rose interactions have plummeted down into a depths. And so it's just White Rose had its day in volumes 1 to 3.
Yes.
And so that's
when like I was reading a lot of fan fiction. I say that.
And
like,
so I have no problem with people shipping White Rose now. I just sort of think that it's had its day.
Maybe it's not the coolest one.
Guys.
It's not the coolest one, but then again, neither is like freaking, I don't know, like Jean and Pierre.
I guess. You know? I just think, I don't know, like, that's something about me, I guess, is that I can ship things that aren't canon, but the more canon something else starts to be, the least interested I become in, like, the opposing ship.
I will say this, I don't think it's going to happen in the show, nor do I necessarily want it to happen in the show, but I do still, and as fan fiction, I love the dynamic of, like, kind of
I guess it's just, like, as the show progresses, it, like, presents an idea of closing off certain possibility.
Yeah.
You know? And so I feel like that, obviously, you can write your way out of that yourself if you're making a fanfic, but I guess that's what I see. I'm like, oh, but as they've progressed, right, like, from volume 1 to 3, they've become so, like, I don't know, kind of, like, separated, and they don't have those same moments they once did. That's so, like, you would have to rekindle that in a fanfic context, but for me, I'm like, oh, but is that evidence that it'll always go that way? Are they fated to always fall?
And we're talking about people with absolutely zero interaction. Raven and Summer, I will die on the hill.
I know. I like Raven and Summer too.
That they like loved each other, and that's why Summer came in to try to help Taiyang, and then eventually fell in love with Taiyang. I'm pro the Taiyang banged everybody in.
Me too.
In RWBY theory, in Team Stark theory.
Let's talk about.
That's my favorite.
Let's talk about the Yang cluster.
Yang is like garlic powder.
No, it is. No, she is not. That is not true. I cannot express enough how like little Yang has in common with almost all of these people. Well, by those I mean like Neo and Ilya specifically. I think that like obviously I had Freezer.
Because I feel like
what is this Elderburn? What is this ship? Yeah, yeah.
They're like the older sisters, and I think
that's
it's cool.
fine. Those are fine. It's the Neo and Ilya getting up so high compared to like Coco and Emerald that I'm just like, how did this happen?
Okay, well,
you like them more than the Happy Huntresses?
It's the malaise,
right,
you know?
Right.
The malaise.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
I broadly feel similarly about all of these, but like, I just like, because I feel like Ilya's a lot like, because I like, as we will see later, Bumblebee, and I feel like in a lot of ways, Ilya is very similar to Blake.
Sure.
And so I feel like with a little bit of creativity, it works a lot. And I feel like Ilya's like, fuck
I feel like Ilya's too good for Yang.
Because you just hate Yang. You just dislike garlic.
I love garlic. I love garlic bread. I love dipping my pizza into the garlic sauce. Okay, like I don't know. Yang is like ketchup to me. I don't like ketchup.
Absolutely not.
I've never liked ketchup.
No, bitch. No. Penny's like ketchup.
I don't like
there
ketchup.
Are very few instances where it is okay to use Penny.
I'm just saying,
right?
I don't like ketchup.
And RWBY is French fries.
Okay.
All right, and that's how I feel about that, but we'll get from that. Baked Alaska, Neo X Yang, that was the old school. Hunter used to love that.
I know.
The tension between that fighting, the fact that they just have such like both like
Yang's not
alpha
cool
snarky energy.
Anymore.
Just they both have that snarky energy, and I feel like it would just work really well. Like, God, I would love it so much. Elderburn, we talked about that. Weiss and Ilya, you can't not. I mean, but it's just great because they have the similar. They have the energy. They have the protector energy. They both want to be in control. The clash would be beautiful. And
obviously the Schnee stuff. I think that's
like the same reason why it's like a less. I don't even know if I feel like I have to like Blake more than I like Ilya.
Yeah, that's true.
So, which is why this isn't.
I mean, this is
rung.
like diet monochrome, really.
It's diet,
this
or
is
it's like
people ship Ilya and Weiss when they ship Bumblebee, if that makes sense.
It's
like they want all of the monochrome, but they want Blake to be with Yang.
Or
so
like,
this is the constellation prize.
Or like what, like Weiss and Blake is like Coke, and then this is Dr. Pepper. Yeah. Very similar, slightly different.
I don't know.
Does the same job.
I just feel like that, like, you don't ship Weiss and Ilya if you... how do I explain this? You only ship Weiss and Ilya if you're shipping Blake with somebody else, I guess. That's how I sort of see it. Because, like, if you want the Blake and Ilya goodness, or sorry, the Blake and Weiss goodness, you would just put Blake and Weiss together.
I mean, personally, I do feel like Where is Ilya and Emerald?
That was not included.
Yes, you had to do. Yeah, because I was pissed at that because that's my favorite because that would be like right up here.
Oh, okay.
And then of course
the Freezer burn divorce. Yes.
I love me them. I just feel like it's the same thing I like about. I feel like it's the underappreciated White Rose.
Sure.
Because like they're very similar.
Okay.
But I feel like there's an era of maturity about Yang, at least at the beginning, that's not present in RWBY. So maybe that's why I like it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Also because, like, for some reason, I don't know why people, when they write those fan fictions, try to fucking traumatize people. But they
why?
do. I don't know. All the really sad ones are the Weiss X Yang ones, and I have no idea why.
After the hug in Volume 5, they thought they had a chance.
Even before that. But like Yang and Blake, God, I do like Bumblebee. As much as like I do think there are better alternatives for Blake, I do much love it. But not as much as I love Blake and Velvet and Blake and Ilya. I'm sorry, it's like what I said. You can just, it's just they're the better version. And like I know what you say, like 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 you're with the fondest with the fondest. I'm sorry, but her and Ilya were perfect. Yeah. There was a fan fiction called We Were Close.
Much deeper connection with Ilya and Blake than I think that Yang and Blake will ever have.
And
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I want to say this because some people may get mad. Do I hate Bumblebee? No. I just think that Bumblebee is like basic romance shit. You know what I mean? Like if
this is advanced
like
romance
you know what I
shit.
mean? If Yang was a guy, I don't know if people would feel the same way. Just because I feel like that if you put this through like a heterosexual lens, you just see how much more basic that their ship and dynamic is.
I don't think
know.
that they've had a lot of sweet moments together.
That's true. I just feel
even
like
before it became very obvious that they were like
I just
couple.
feel like that, like, I don't know. I feel like that if Yang was a guy, it would just be perceived as like, oh, well, that's basic. Like, you're putting the couples together. It would be, Yang and Blake would be like Pyrrha and Jean. Like, some people like Pyrrha and Jean, but it would be like the basic choice.
I don't know. I just feel like they just have such like running energy and such baggage, and they're trying to help each other, and they're teammates, and they were roommates.
I'm just like, the chemistry is like starting to get lost on me, I guess, as we progress. Like in volume 6, I saw it a little bit, but then as we kept going, I was like, I don't think I like this.
Well, they also haven't focused it very much.
I don't think I like the ship anymore.
My goodness. I still very much so like it. Not as much as I like Blake, and as much as it is a malaise, I purposely put Blake and
Ilya
and Blake and Velvet ahead of that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I tried to mention it earlier, but there was fan fiction called We Were Close, and it was before volume 3 even, I don't think. It's years old now. It's on fanfiction.net, not even AO3. And it was Blake in a relationship with an ex-White Fang member. And when Ilya was announced, I was like, fuck yeah, she's like Mina, the character from the OC from the fanfiction. And she wasn't quite, and they didn't quite have a relationship. And I will die bitter about it. Yeah. There's no future where I'm not a little PO'd.
That's just the thing for me. It's like,
it's just, I love him so much.
Bumblebee is okay, but it's like a 5 out of 10 when there were 10 out of 10 options.
I think it's like really solid, but it's just, there's really inspired options there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get the idea of like Blake moving on from Ilya and that point, and how like realistically it wouldn't quite happen, but like my heart wants it.
But I do think that them defeating Adam also makes more sense. Like if you were to insert Ilya in the narrative in some way, and like not have her replace Yang, but for her to take over Yang's role in that specific instance when it comes to fighting Adam, it makes a lot more sense for them to both bury their mutual trauma by taking care of Adam. Compared to, I mean, Yang was obviously involved because her arm got cut off, but like I said, like
that'll involve you.
Yang got inserted into Blake's story, whereas Ilya was already part of Blake's story, and they could have finished it together. Yes. That's how I see.
And I also just love the Velvet Blake, because I feel like Blake is kind of like cold and untrusting, and like kind of still have that revolutionary spirit, especially early on, where she's like, why don't you fuck people up? And Velvet was like being bullied, even though she's very competent, so you get the impression that she's kind of a pacifist, and I like that kind of like clashing. I really love it. I love fan fiction of it. It's just I love all of these. I will stand by all of these.
So where is the Fox and Neo? Because there was no Fox and Neo image.
A Fox and Neo. At first, when you talked about it, I was like, what are you? You're smoking something. But I had to, I like it. I do like it.
Where does it go, though?
It would go in love.
Okay.
Lower love, but it would go in love.
Damn, not above Blake and Yang.
Well, not above Blake and Yang. I think there was, right, so there's Jean and Neo.
Yeah.
I also kind of love Jean and Neo. I would put Jean and Neo maybe a little bit behind Fox and Neo.
Okay.
And 2 reasons why. It's like, I do love how Fox and Neo would be able to communicate telepathically. Thank you. And Jean and Neo don't have that.
So you're saying that you would put Fox and Neo ahead?
Ahead, if it weren't for the fact that I have a lot of animosity to that fan pairing.
What do you mean?
Because it's quite popular.
Oh, Jean and Neo.
Yes, and so
I was confused.
It's quite popular, and I'm the dipshit that, as a present to you, wrote a Fox Neo fanfiction.
Right.
And in retrospect, I'm like, man, if I just made Fox Jean, you wouldn't have wanted it.
No.
But it would have been so much more popular.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying.
And that's my animosity has infected it.
Jean and Neo is the basic bitch, and then
Fox is for the people
and Neo
who
is
know,
like the culture.
who have like the cultured
takes. All right.
So I
was
knew,
just curious.
I knew at
because
the
it
start
wasn't
of this.
on the circle.
I knew at the start of this there was only gonna be like 3 OTPs.
Okay, and I agree with 2 of them because we did talk about them in my video.
Yes.
Like Penny and Ruby.
They're just like
It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Like they love the like Penny's such a support. Like Ruby's such a supportive, lovely person. Even at the beginning, before I even really fell in love with them, they're like very, very good friends. But they like the charisma and the chemistry, it's amazing in volume 7 and 8, and I love it so much, and they took it away from me.
Oh my
and I
God.
will never I will never live it down. I'm more upset about that than I was about Ilya and Blake, frankly, but it has to be number 1 because it's just so amazing.
All right.
I love it so much.
All right, I approve. I do approve of this.
It's like there's not even anything like particularly unique, and it's all canon too, which I think is very special.
Yeah, all of basically the reasons
Both
why
are
you ship it are
canon.
canon.
Yeah. But like fan fiction's great as well. Weiss and Blake, we've talked about this to death, but like they should have been together. That should have been the That's the
canon ship.
immediately more interesting thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be controversial in the same way that like Zutara is controversial. Zuko and
Katara should have been together too, bitch. If you ship Aang and Katara, you ship Ruby and Oscar.
Yes.
Yes.
Because they're the basic bitch option.
Exactly. The more nuanced option,
if you're spicy, if you live on the edge, if you know what's up.
But like even Avatar comparisons aside, I think just even in comparison to Blake and Yang, it is the better ship, and
it would be more.
I feel like I'm not one of those people that are like, oh well, my rewrite of RWBY is better. But I think that if they were to reboot RWBY, I would strongly consider putting Weiss and Blake together instead.
Yes, I would.
If there was a RWBY reboot where they like fixed up the Faunus racism plotline and everything, this I feel like that Weiss and Blake would be the superior version of
that's
RWBY,
controversial
okay?
because Weiss comes from a family of like slave owners ostensibly, it's proven.
Yeah.
And Blake fought against those. So I understand why people get icky with those.
But I think that the point is that Weiss is not like her father, and that Blake is not like Adam. Like, they are not the person that represents them.
And they have legitimate reasons to dislike each other. And I feel like you could have a really interesting story where they learn to trust each other.
I also think here's the thing with that.
Which we already kind of got.
If you're not opposed to Blake and Weiss being friends, despite all of the history that Weiss has with, as you said, you opposing them being lovers to me makes no sense.
Like, it's that much far a jump between lovers and friends.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the only criticism for the criticism. I don't understand why you would be okay with Weiss and Blake being friends and Blake forgiving Weiss if you feel so strongly about the Schnee Dust Company that you don't think that they should be together romantically. Because friendship is just another type of love. Right?
Agree.
And so that's my firm stance on that, right? Especially with all the Weiss was racist, but they're friends, and friends and lovers can be on the same pillar, even though they're different types of love, right?
And I mean, hey man, I'm not saying that you have to date a racist.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it could be interesting.
Yeah, I think, again, if you're okay with them being friends, I don't see why you're not okay with them being romantic.
So Monochrome and Nuts and Bolts, I will go, to bat for.
Yeah, me too.
I also really...
I know, this is going to be controversial,
I will also really go to bat for, the triple threat, I guess you could say, of RWBY, Nuts and Bolts? No, it's... I forget what the...
An OT3?
It's an OT3 of RWBY, Penny, and Weiss. I just kind of love it. It's just RWBY and Penny, but bigger and warmer.
Oh, okay.
I just like it a lot.
That's random, but okay. So let's talk about, I think, the elephant in the room.
Because for those first three...
controversial choice.
For those, that OT3 and Monochrome and... I like RWBY and Penny. I would go up to bat with. Right. I will have an argument.
Those are perfectly defensible.
I would fight someone on it.
Yeah.
You know.
We can take the position that Monochrome is a superior ship, and we can fight like the Bumblebee.
Or you
shippers,
or you
know
could
what I
or
mean?
you could
We would
fight
stand our ground.
or you could I would be willing to fight on the nuances of their characters and their
if this was r/place, okay, we would defend the position.
Absolutely.
But I feel like that the last OTP you have, Hunter, is something that you keep as a secret from people, and you never tell them because
we're coming out of the closet.
I know, exactly. Like, where you would defend Blake and Weiss
petals.
publicly, you would not. you don't speak about this.
Listen, the girls who get it, and
I
the
don't
girls
get it.
who don't, gornt. And you gornt, and that's okay to gornt. But
I just think the better version of this is like Winter and Cinder. That's just sort of that's my opinion.
But my thing is that like it goes one of two ways. One, Cinder is an evil mastermind controlling and manipulating RWBY.
And there's weird BDSM things happening. I
will not confirm that that's what I got in for. If you happen to find that, then I'm sure. But just something about if you wanted something nasty and not healthy to scratch that itch, which we both have. Let's not lie.
Well, this was probably the ship back in the day.
Yes, and
I couldn't see it being the ship of the
and
day.
Listen, I've been around the block, all right?
Yeah.
RWBY X
We
Cinder.
have to keep in mind that Hunter was here when, like,
I was here volume 2. I was here starting volume 2.
Cinder was a different, I don't know, like, Cinder was different.
Yeah, Cinder was like, everyone was like, oh my god, they're both red, they have dark hair, they're like, one's big and scary, one's small and cute, like, it's perfect. And I still feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel that way. And so when I want something a little questionable to scare the parents, I like that. But I also feel like there's very sweet fan fiction and maybe sweet
That's very canon divergent
to be made about like
which is fine.
Cinder there's a version of Cinder who like is like learns for like that's like Emerald.
Yeah.
Where she realizes her ways and she leaves and RWBY helps.
Okay.
And I really love that. And I've read a lot of them.
In your imagination, you've seen it.
I have read so many of these fan fictions. I could compile a list of my favorites. But I really love, even when it's like a slightly out of character, even when it's like AU, they don't quite like each other, when it's like enemies to lovers. It's just perfect.
There's it's a safe space to explore some things.
Some questionable. I'm not saying. I want to preface this by you should absolutely not be a Cinder to someone's RWBY. However, if you want to read some fan fiction and imagine yourself as being a RWBY to someone's Cinder, I can relate. You know?
Oh yeah, like your big buff woman thingy. Yeah, like the lady.
Demetress?
Yeah. So that's basically what this is.
Her.
So Hunter is RWBY to the Cinder, I guess. Okay.
And also I think that there's just really sweet friends to lovers stuff that's out there.
Oh, okay.
Or sorry, enemies to lovers.
Oh, okay.
You know, that works. I don't know if
I'm on board with this, to be honest. But you know what? If Hunter, none of my business. And that's the whole thing with ships, right? Is that like you can ship whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care what you do.
You can love Toradana as long as. Here's the thing: is that I get Toradana.
Yeah.
To an extent, because Toradana is not so different than Falling Petals, RWBY X Cinder.
Yeah.
But it doesn't vibe with me.
It just
so I keep it way over there.
I don't care what other people ship.
I think we should all just
ripping
accept,
on each other because we're sharing.
We should just accept that it's just ultimately fine, and that we shouldn't be make a big deal about it.
I mean, the only opinion that is objective fact is the fact that Monochrome is a better ship. Everything else is subjective.
We can agree. We can agree on that.
Everything else is subjective. And so I think this is a pretty good list, Hunter. There's some interesting ideas here. I do like the Ilya and Blake rights. I do like the we were close rights.
Yeah.
I
realized that all of my love characters is basically the same 6 characters and also Renora.
So I think I had some more spicy takes. Hunter's takes.
I'm consistent.
Very consistent, yes. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed Hunter's ship thing. I assume there will be no dictator speech because all of these ships have more fan art than Fox and Neo does.
If you do not love evil women! No, I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, that's basically, we support,
I'm a strong supporter of evil women.
women's rights, but we also support
Their
women's
wrongs.
And I
Love
think
me some
that's the
evil
note
women.
that we're going to end on today. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that you guys had fun. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Court today. And let us know what other videos you'd like us to do. Would you like us to do like a writing one where we like judge everyone solely based off of writing, no matter if we like them or not? Like, because our lists were more personal, like, except for Hunters, which got like holistic, like the other video where we talked about our favorite characters.
Yes.
But maybe, I don't know, let us know what other tier lists you would like to see. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.